Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Aaliyah, and today we're talking about HAKKENDEN, 8 Dogs of the East. Is it a BL? Is it brotherly affection? Why do they act like that? And we're going to be delving into a little bit of Asian culture, some things that I have observed since living in Vietnam. And yeah, I'm excited. Let's get right into the video. So in HAKKENDEN, 8 Dogs of the East, there are 2 main storylines. The first following Shino and Sosuke, and the second being an ancient prophecy that is being fulfilled with the bead holders. So let's talk about the bead holders first. Okay. So HAKKENDEN, 8 Dogs of the East is based off of an epic novel. And in this epic novel, there are 8 bead holders who represent the 8 young men who were helping Princess Fuse to fight Tama Azua in the time of darkness. Hopefully, I know I butchered those names, but it is what it is. And in this storyline, Shino and Sosuke have been tasked with gathering all of the beads together for some reason by Sir Rio. So far, in season 1, we have about 4 out of the 8 beads being collected. Shino, Sosuke, Genpachi, Rio, Kabongu. Okay? And 2 other males. So a good majority of them have been collected by the first season. So there is the first plot line. So the second storyline in HAKKENDEN 8 Dogs of the East starts 5 years prior to our first episode. And we see that a village called the Atsaku village has been struck with a plague. And the only survivors are our main characters, Shino, Sosuke, and a young girl named Hajime. These 3 take shelter in a church and they live out the rest of their days quietly, or so we assume, till people begin to look for this sword. So here where the 8 bead holders and the 3 children fuse together in HAKKENDEN 8 Dogs of the East. You see, each bead holder has had a near-death experience. Some dying in the snow, others dying in the village, and they all have a very strong desire to keep living. Shino was a sickly child. There was Sosuke wanted to be friends with Shino. They wanted to stay together till the end. Genpachi had a strong desire to see his wife. And many of these male characters had a reason for living. So what we find is that in their near-death experience, they encounter a spirit. And this spirit is willing to grant them life for a price. Okay. For Shino contracted with the spirit Murasame. And if you know anything about Japanese culture, Murasame is a mythical sword from Japanese folklore, and it is often depicted as a demonic weapon with very strong powers. And so Shino contracts with Murasame and he is able to live. But the price that he has to pay is that he remains in a 13-year-old's body until basically the day he dies, or so we believe. So this is the curse or the price that Shino has to pay, and he gets to continue living with Sosuke and Hajime. And this is the same for all 8 bead holders. So when we talk about season 1, what the anime really focuses on is introducing us to all of the characters and their backstory. Which is news to me because when I remember this anime, I just knew that there was something with a boy, something with a crow, and they were fighting. And when I was watching season 1, I was like, wait a minute, there's not much action here, but there is a lot of gay coded stuff. So let me tell you the things that I noticed. In episode 1, we learned that Murasame in this story is depicted as a sword and a crow. The crow is the manifestation of the spirit of Murasame, and he lives in Shino's arm. Okay, we know that the church was once in possession of this sword, hiding it away so nobody could use it, except for them. And it turns out that Rio took that sword and gave it to Shino. This is what I wrote in my notes. The story has a lot to offer about religion, spiritual beliefs, interaction with spirits, and near-death experiences, dealing with people's motivations and what they want out of life and how far they are willing to go. However, I also am noticing that this is gay coded. The initial closeness of the main characters, Shino and Sosuke, and even the army man, Genpachi, hinting at finding him attractive, is a bit odd considering the stakes that the story is surrounded around. I can tell that Sosuke is a loyal guy, always doting on Shino, maybe because he's fused with the dog. And it's also mentioned that as a child, Shino had to grow his hair out as a boy and live like a girl to learn discipline in their village. Apparently, he was the most gorgeous girl. And so for the rest of this video, I want to discuss some of the things that I've noticed having moved to Vietnam and teaching children about the male relationships here. And I'm going to say East versus West. All I can really do is speak for America. So these are just my observations. But the first thing I noticed, and I think it's just part of Asian culture, because they are collectivists, right? That means that their friendships are kind of expected to be similar to family. So there's nothing wrong with male closeness and being emotionally vulnerable or overly lovey-dovey with your friend. And I call it lovey-dovey because, of course, I see things from a Western perspective. And I view male relationships as you can be bros, but don't make it seem like kind of effeminate. You know, and I know Asian men get a bad rap for being considered very effeminate in the way that they deal with each other. And I don't believe that they are. But however, that's how their behavior comes across. So, like when you see two boys holding hands or leaning on each other or sitting to shoulder, relaxing with each other, it's a sign of friendship, of trust, loyalty, and comfort, not so much a romantic relationship. Where here, as in the West or in like America, any kind of physical touch or apparent attraction that we see from individuals who are same sex is automatically considered romantic. I don't believe that in the Western society there's any concept of familial love outside of your family, right? We have like terms in the Black community like this is my cousin to signify like this family, this person, although they aren't blood related, we love them like family. But even the way you behave with your family, depending on where you come from, these kind of jumping and holding on each other and reaching out for each other and watching each other sleep can be considered weird. The second reason I want to discuss this is because it's the idea of physical touch, right? For us, physical touch in the West symbolizes some lustful or hidden agenda that you're wanting to pursue this person in a physical manner. Whereas over here, it's not seen with the same level of scrutiny, if that makes sense. Like, oh, I was teaching in a class and I was watching and just observing the boys. And I'm like, stop touching each other. Like, it's a bit weird. Quit. It's not school appropriate. And, you know, the kids came up to me and they were like, no, like, teacher, we're family. It's okay. Like, we're all looking out for one another. This is just how we get along. So I started having to check myself on saying, hey, don't behave in a gay manner. Because for them, it's not gay. That's like my value that I'm imposing upon them. So I've had to really check like, okay, is this actually a behavior that needs to be corrected? Or is this just me feeling uncomfortable with the way they display and show affection? Okay. And the third thing is how masculinity is viewed in the East. I still have not figured that out. It seems it seems like it's very fluid here, for lack of a better term, as in when male female relationships or interactions happen, they are very traditional, very respectful. Man opens the door, he helps you lift the heavy things, you are, as a woman, expected to be, like, you can tell they expect that you are weaker, or that, they need to step up and help, which is appreciated. Absolutely. You want to go do that? Go ahead. However, when you see them interact with each other, it's also like, how many times you gonna slap him on the butt? How many times you gonna pretend to kiss him on the cheek? Like, I'm trying to gauge, like, what is the limit here for you guys consider this person gay, or this is just my bro? I don't think Hakkenden 8 Dogs of the East is a BL, but I do think it's a great example of what it looks like to, I don't know, guess just have like the bros. Like, if you're a bro, I don't know how to explain it, but like, if you are for the bros, I think this is what your personal relationships would look like. Just having fun with each other, being comfortable with each other. And it's really refreshing to see. It's nice to see. Unfortunately, with High Dive and Amazon, I did not have access to season 2. I cannot find access to it anywhere. So the part that I'm sure would have been enticing for me, the action, getting busy, fighting the church, fighting the monks, I cannot talk about. Therefore, I picked this topic. So if you are from the East or from some Asian country, something other than the West, funny, from the South, tell me what your perspective is on brotherly affection. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for 115 subscribers. I will see you guys in the next video.